The year was 1519, and the New World was a land of unimaginable riches and formidable empires. In the heart of this vast, untamed continent lay the mighty Aztec Empire, a civilization of great warriors, grand temples, and boundless treasures. It was into this world that Hernán Cortés, a Spanish conquistador, would march, driven by ambition, cunning, and an unyielding thirst for glory. His journey would culminate in the epic and brutal conquest of Tenochtitlán, the Aztec capital, forever altering the course of history. Cortés stood on the deck of his ship, the soft breeze of the Caribbean Sea ruffling his hair. The year was 1519, and he was bound for the coast of what is now Mexico. His eyes, sharp and filled with determination, scanned the horizon. The land ahead promised untold wealth and glory, but it also harbored unknown dangers. "We'll make landfall soon, Captain," said Pedro de Alvarado, one of Cortés's trusted lieutenants. "The men are ready." Cortés nodded. "Good. We must be swift and decisive. This is only the beginning." As they disembarked, Cortés and his men were met by the indigenous people of the region. Initial encounters were tense, but eventually led to the formation of uneasy alliances. Cortés learned of the vast Aztec Empire and its capital, Tenochtitlan, from the local tribes. The tales of golden riches fueled his ambitions even further. Cortés and his small band of conquistadors began their arduous march inland, accompanied by native allies eager to overthrow their Aztec overlords. Along the way, they encountered fierce resistance, but also forged crucial alliances, most notably with the Tlaxcalans, bitter enemies of the Aztecs. "Captain, the Tlaxcalans are willing to join us," Alvarado reported one evening, his face marked with the weariness of battle. "Their hatred for the Aztecs runs deep." Cortés smiled. "Excellent. With their support, we strengthen our chances, but we must remain vigilant. Trust is a fragile thing in this land." The journey was fraught with peril. The dense jungles, treacherous mountains, and hostile forces tested the limits of Cortés's leadership. Yet, through cunning diplomacy and ruthless action, he pressed on, driven by the vision of Tenochtitlan and its treasures. In November 1519, Cortés and his army finally stood before the gates of Tenochtitlan. The sight was awe-inspiring. The city, built on an island in the middle of Lake Texcoco, shimmered with the brilliance of its temples and palaces. Moctezuma II, the Aztec emperor, welcomed Cortés and his men with open arms, believing them to be the fulfillment of an ancient prophecy. "Welcome, Malinche," Moctezuma greeted Cortés, using the name given to him by his Nahua interpreter, Malintzin. "We have awaited your arrival." Cortés, ever the tactician, bowed respectfully. "Great Emperor, we come in peace and with admiration for your great empire." Despite the warm welcome, tensions simmered beneath the surface. Cortés and his men were acutely aware that they were vastly outnumbered and deep within enemy territory. They navigated the opulent city, their eyes taking in the gold and riches, but their minds calculating the next move. The initial hospitality soon gave way to suspicion and unrest. The Spanish presence in Tenochtitlan was like a smoldering ember, ready to ignite at any moment. Cortés, sensing the precariousness of their situation, decided to take Moctezuma hostage within his own palace, using him as leverage to control the Aztec nobility. "We cannot afford to wait for them to act," Cortés confided to Alvarado. "We must strike first and ensure our survival." The move was bold and dangerous. While it temporarily subdued the Aztec leaders, it also sowed the seeds of rebellion. The people of Tenochtitlan grew increasingly resentful of the foreigners and their puppet emperor. In 1520, while Cortés was away dealing with a rival Spanish expedition, the tensions boiled over. Pedro de Alvarado, left in charge, ordered a massacre during a religious festival, igniting a full-scale uprising. Cortés returned to find the city in chaos. The Aztecs had risen against the Spanish, and the streets of Tenochtitlan were awash with blood. Moctezuma, now despised by his people, was killed under mysterious circumstances. "We must retreat," Cortés ordered, realizing the dire situation. "Gather what we can and prepare to fight our way out." On the night of June 30th, 1520, known as La Noche Triste, the Spanish attempted a desperate escape. As they crossed the bridges and causeways out of Tenochtitlan, they were ambushed by Aztec warriors. The battle was fierce and brutal, with many Spaniards and their allies perishing in the dark waters of Lake Texcoco. Cortés himself barely escaped with his life, but his determination remained unbroken. "We will return," he vowed, bloodied but resolute, "and we will conquer." Over the next year, Cortés regrouped his forces and built alliances with surrounding tribes. With a strengthened army and a fleet of brigantines constructed to control the lake, he launched a full-scale siege on Tenochtitlan in May 1521. The siege was relentless. Spanish cannons bombarded the city, and fierce battles raged day and night. The once great city began to crumble under the assault, its people suffering from hunger and disease. "Push forward! We must break their spirit!" Cortés commanded, leading his men with unwavering resolve. The Aztecs, led by their new emperor Cuauhtémoc, fought valiantly, but the combination of Spanish firepower and the blockade proved overwhelming. The defenders were starved and exhausted, their once glorious capital reduced to ruins. On August 13th, 1521, Tenochtitlan finally fell. The once mighty city lay in ruins, and the great Aztec Empire was no more. Cuauhtémoc was captured, bringing an end to the resistance. Cortés stood in the heart of the shattered city, a sense of triumph mingled with the stark reality of the destruction. "We have done what we set out to do," he declared, "but at what cost?" The aftermath of the conquest was grim. The indigenous population faced enslavement, disease, and death. The Spanish began the arduous task of rebuilding the city as Mexico City, laying the foundations for Spanish rule in the New World. Hernán Cortés's conquest of the Aztec Empire was a defining moment in history. It marked the beginning of Spanish dominance in the Americas and the end of one of the greatest civilizations of the ancient world. Cortés himself, despite his triumphs, faced many challenges in the years that followed. He struggled to maintain his power and faced numerous accusations and legal battles upon his return to Spain. Yet his legacy as the man who conquered Tenochtitlan remained undeniable. The story of Hernán Cortés is one of ambition and brutality, of courage and cunning. It is a tale of a man who dared to dream of greatness and was willing to pay any price to achieve it. His actions reshaped the world, leaving an indelible mark on history that continues to be felt to this day. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to give a like, share, and subscribe to receive notification when we drop new content.